Product review of Bostik's Dimension Grout. This is an innovative grout, urethane based and stain resistant. Let's get started. Always read the instructions. Glass filled, pre-mixed, that's great. Grout blends naturally with tile. 2-year shelf life. Can be resealed. Okay, let's get it open and get started. So I've removed all the protection from the glass and we're ready to go. Put some gloves on. All right, it's got a pretty tough resealable lid. Let's look at the material really quick. I don't want to scratch up my tile, so I'm gonna sit it right here. Material is, it's like snow on a road after a couple of days. Relatively soft, easy to manipulate. I'm going to use a sharp epoxy. It says multi-purpose float, but it's a really stiff float. That's what I'm going to use for this. So I'm going to move my bucket over here, a rag, because I'm gonna make a mess. And before I get started, I suggest we're gonna grout both these two panels of the Bostik and this panel right here with the Bostik. I'm just gonna wring out my sponge really well. You can see there's no drips coming off of the sponge. And I'm just gonna wipe the tile down. That's gonna do a couple of different things. It's gonna help the grout slide across the tile, give it a little bit of lubrication. I said a couple of things, but I really just meant that one. That's what it's gonna do for you. So I'm gonna get this off the top here. It's got a, it kind of smells like paint, if that makes any sense. I need a little bit more grout. Drop that right there. I'm gonna put this in here. All right, let's grout it. Oh, pushes in really easily. We'll start over a little bit. I don't remember if it said to mix it up, but I'm gonna mix it up just a little bit, just in case.
Tell me if you've had any experience with Bostik's Dimension Grout, or do you want to use it? What questions do you have? Leave it in the comments down below.
Probably don't need that much. I don't need that much. Very simple, very easy to use. Reminds me of epoxy. It doesn't stick to your float, but not the aggravation of epoxy to where it's really tough to use. This is very creamy. Let's see. Squeegee that off the face of the tile. Let's get this one. Way too much grout. Squeegee that off the face of the tile. Boo. Boo, sloppy grouter. Boo. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit with the margin trowel. Just gonna put that right there. See how that reacts once it dries. Okay, that's that. Now let's do this small glass. Now the aggregate, it does have an aggregate, but the aggregate is glass beads, I believe. That's way too much. Again, that out. And the timing on this, it says clean as soon as you grout as far as you can reach. So we will do our initial clean as soon as we get done with this. It really does grout easy. Looks like all my joints are full. Squeegee, squeegee, squeegee. I'll add in a sound effect and go screw, 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 screw. Screw, 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 screw. That's my squeegee sound. Anybody was asking? Probably were not. All right, so we are done. And we're gonna go ahead and clean this. This was grouting with Bostik Dimension. 2 thumbs up so far. So my sponge has very little water in it. I'm gonna, just like normal grout, just dress the grout joints with a circular motion. Make sure I don't have any voids. Flip that over. If I got any voids, this is the time to fix them. Just gonna do this. Just on a sample, this is very easy to do because there's not a lot. I'm gonna ring her out again. Pull, flip, pull, and pull. Pull, flip, pull, and always at a diagonal. That way you don't pull your stuff out of your grout out of the joints. There you go. Now, final inspection before you leave it. You gotta leave it. It's got a little mess up here. I think that was probably a piece of the protection that didn't come off. Okay. So since that pulled out of there, I'm just gonna rework that joint and fix it. And I'm happy with that, and I'm walking away. Step away. Step away. We say in our house, walk away, friend. Walk away. The Bostik Dimension. This material I've never grouted with before, but let me tell you, it came out of the bucket. It was creamy, easy to push into the joints. Just like most of the other urethane grouts I've used before, it did slide off of your trowel. That's just one of those things you get used to when using a pre-mixed grout. But I will say, it cleaned up nicely. It squeegeed off the glass tile nicely. From an installation perspective, it worked really well. Now this is a rapid setting grout, so that is one of the notes you need to make sure. If you're not comfortable using a urethane based grout, you do not want a rapid setting grout. Even after I cleaned it per the spec, there was still some grout residue left on the tile. Bostik does carry their specific cleaner called Blaze, which we use a lot in our sample department. I didn't have any Blaze here, so I used a petroleum-based cleaner and an alkaline cleaner. I chose a couple of different ones just to see. Both of them worked really well. You had to use a little bit of elbow grease just to make sure that you had it clean. You kind of got to look at it in the light. That's the trick with haze. You got to kind of move your light around to see where the shiny spots are. Because originally when I just cleaned it, was done with it, I thought it was pretty perfect. Then I picked up the sample board and at a different angle I saw there was quite a bit of residue left on the tile. I also did a stain test of the Dimension. And I will say, after 24 hours of curing, I put a drop or 3 drops of red wine vinegar on the grout joint and let it sit there for 5 minutes. There is no sign of that red wine vinegar. So 2 thumbs up for stainability. It's a great grout. Installs well, very hard once cured, and stain resistant as early as 24 hours. One caveat, be wary that it is rapid setting and be prepared for some grout residue. I hope this was helpful. I hope these product reviews help you make the right decision when you're buying your tile. And remember, all of the great tile products are available today at tilebar.com. And let's never forget to keep learning together, and let's tile the world.